Hello, I'm Ryan Beckman, your host for thefutureofhealthnow.com. The purpose of our site is to give you privileged access to useful and healthful conversations with many of the world's most respected doctors, scientists, and thought leaders, helping you to achieve the best health possible. Today we have the honor of speaking with David Newman, who is the CEO of GLS Sciences. In today's interview, we will share some very important information regarding your blood sugar health, so I really want you to make sure that you pay attention. If you're someone that already has type 2 diabetes, if you're overweight, if you're perhaps obese, or if you have higher than normal blood sugar levels, it's really important today that you pay attention. And also, David and GLS Sciences have been kind enough to have a free gift ready for you as well. So thank you very much for being here, David.
Thank you, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, for those of you that are watching this or an interview of this nature here on The Future of Health Now for the first time, then welcome. We're happy to have you as a community member. And for everyone else who's already a community member, great to have you here as well. And I wanted to share with you that David as well is a fellow community member of yours. David actually reached out to me initially much earlier on this year. We had the opportunity to be in touch through email while I was down in Rio in Brazil, and we finally ended up getting together in person in San Francisco, and I learned a little bit more about himself, his personal story, and his organization, which I'm really excited for you to learn more about today. So David, can you share with us just a little bit more about GLS Sciences and what you've got going on over there with the Blood Sugar Miracle?
Sure. GLS Sciences is a group of doctors and scientists and researchers who really want to help people improve their metabolism. We're committed to helping people who suffer with metabolic or any kind of related health issues just by providing genuine breakthroughs in nutritional and lifestyle science, to achieve a normal metabolic function for healthier and more fulfilling life.
Wonderful, and that's a really good thing to go about doing. And how big of a problem is blood sugar health right now?
Well, let's go a little beyond that and say that the latest published data that we see in the press says that 70% of the U.S. population is overweight, 30% is obese. Depending on whose numbers you go with, somewhere between 57 million and 70 million people are either pre-diabetic or diabetic in the United States alone, and it's an epidemic. It's really a horrible health problem of proportions that are super epidemic, unfortunately.
Yeah, and this is one of those silent epidemics, if you will, in that people are oftentimes not necessarily aware of how serious of a condition diabetes or high blood sugar really is.
Unfortunately, that's the truth. They get caught up, in yo-yo dieting or age catches up, or their metabolism slows down because they're a little less active. They're eating more and more of the fast foods or the junk foods and the refined sugars and carbohydrates, and all of a sudden it sneaks up on them. And the unfortunate reality is, the health risks go up when you're overweight, and metabolic issues become a real challenge. The really dangerous part of this whole problem is that it can sneak up on you, and that as your blood sugar climbs into just the high range of normal, your risk for diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and the associated conditions that go along with all of those. In diabetes, it can be horrible. I mean, people can go blind. There's kidney failure issues. There's amputation or loss of limb. It can dramatically alter the state of one's life and really cause some real challenges to people and their loved ones in their overall health and well-being.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it's really quite serious how often this happens. I know that even a member of your team, a gentleman that's involved in your materials and your publishing materials, he himself was negatively affected, probably much more so than he would have ever conceived prior to.
Well, let's put it this way. One of our first investors, who is diabetic, he only sees out of one eye. And when he was having problems and the one good eye that he can see out of, the vision started getting challenged, he really got scared. And I said, let me talk to some of the scientists and doctors I know, and we started looking at all the literature that was valid, and there's good stuff out there. There's important things that people need to know about. You know, it's a real problem in our society right now because people don't understand that if you keep putting the wrong fuel in, just like if you put the wrong fuel in your car, it's not going to run very well. If you put the wrong fuel in your body, it's not going to run well. And if you put fuel in the form of food that's depleted of nutrients that your body needs, that then further cause a triggering effect, which further depletes the nutrients, the little nutrient stores you have, your metabolism can be dramatically compromised. Mm-hmm. It's you know, I don't know if you've heard of the G flux, and if my fellow audience and members have, I don't want to go into a lot of technical, complicated science here, but you know, there's a simple formula for increasing it, and that's just for increasing metabolism, and it's eat more of the right foods and get a little more activity. It's a simple formula. We're all aware of it, and it sounds simple, but you know, do you mind if we take a deeper look at that for a second, Arai?
Not at all, not at all. I think you should go into that because that has to do with this ultimately where we're going here. This I believe the gift as well that you have available for everyone.
Right, and we're really excited to get that out to help people. And I want to tell you more about some of our team members' experiences with blood sugar. But let me just share that back on that note about how to increase metabolism. Look, activity and exercise increase metabolism. Okay, eating the right foods, getting the right nutrients, the right nutrition increases metabolism. The trick, this is really important for all of us to remember, and it's so easy to put weight on these days, and it's so easy to be tempted and to eat the wrong food and to not get a little more activity. The trick is learning to balance the two, the activity and the food we take in, so we can create a negative calorie balance. So we burn more than we take in, and that belly fat marker, not to go in too deep into the technical aspects of the science, is a big indicator these days. So anything we can do to trim that down a little bit can be very beneficial, and we feel better when we do that. So being sedentary, just sitting around and not getting any activity, it's detrimental. A little more activity can be extremely beneficial. Extremely beneficial. I cannot emphasize that enough, especially for people that have painfully slow metabolisms, want to lose some weight, want to trim down, want to improve their blood sugar. And that's pretty much because of the hormonal factors that result from a lack of exercise, a lack of activity. So if you can teach your body or trigger your body through your metabolism to burn at a little more efficient rate by getting the right nutrition, then you will see some benefits and enjoy a little. What I think is important to all of us as Future of Health members is improve our vitality. I mean, we're so excited by what you're doing, Arai, with Future of Health now, and you've got so much energy and you've had such great people, and recently you featured Dr. Mark Hyman with the Blood Sugar Cure, and he is point on, and there are so many great books that are helpful. And they're extremely point on. There's books on the glycemic index, and I can pull a few of them out. There's the new glucose revolution here, and there's the 30-day diabetes miracle by a couple doctors, and there's Dr. Bernstein's diabetes solution. These are good books. They're great. 300 pages. In our hectic society today, people don't have a lot of time to read them. So you know, we do have a special report that kind of puts it all into a much easier to absorb form that we want to give to your readers, just anybody that wants to deal with these kind of issues. And I touched on that glycemic index rather quickly, and I apologize to you and my fellow listeners for that. I just want to emphasize that, look, the higher glycemic food you eat, the quicker your glucose levels jump. I mean, quick. The problem with that, Arai, when it comes to this whole issue of weight gain and overweight and high blood sugar, is that hours after you eat something high glycemic, you then have a drop, okay? your blood sugar plummets lower. So now you're craving it again. So what the latest research is showing, that high glycemic foods trigger more activities in the areas of our brain associated with rewards, cravings, addictions, and hunger, more hunger. So it's like a cascading effect that makes you want to eat more and more and more, and you can't help it. And this is why all of us, you know, the freedom comes through the discipline of starting one meal at a time, not trying to say I'm going to change everything, but one meal at a time, making a little better choices right here and now. And back to what you're doing with Future of Health Now, that's what I love about Future of Health Now. It's not do this tomorrow, it's not next week, it's not I'm guilty for what I did before, it's right now. And what I loved when I met with you is the choices we make right now. Each moment can change our lives. Not only right here and now with our blood sugar and our state of health now, but moving forward. So I apologize that if I sound like a maniac, a zealot, but I am, and I can tell you why and how close I am with some of my fellow team members and what they've been through if you'd like me to share that. It's just that, look, there's a worldwide epidemic, there's a U.S. epidemic, 70% of our population's overweight. I don't mean to sound redundant, but this is horrible. 30% of our population's is obese. Blood sugar and type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome or syndrome X, pre-diabetes are the numbers are going up at rates that we can't even keep up with. It's a real challenge. It's a problem, and the complications associated with that are really scary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is definitely a fact. You know, having spoken to your other teammate Rick and found out about his personal experience, and for everyone watching this interview, you pay attention as well. If you're not already a member or subscribed to our email newsletter, you can do so to the right of this video, I believe, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can click through to our website and subscribe to the newsletter so you can get that interview. But Rick is someone who essentially found out by chance that he had really high blood sugar, dismissed it. In a nutshell, the version goes like, his story goes like, rather, he felt some numbing in his foot. He ended up having to have 3 of his toes amputated.
That's true, and it's unfortunate, but this is what you talked about, the silent, sneaky nature of this blood sugar issue, and the fact that we don't take it as seriously as we really should. I would liken blood sugar as a health biomarker to where, say, cholesterol and triglycerides were, and triglycerides less so, they're even more important now, say 25 years ago. You know, the fact that even in the high range of normal, Arai and my fellow listeners, if your blood sugar goes into the high range of normal, your risk for all those horrible dis-ease conditions known as heart disease and kidney failure and diabetes and all those complications goes up. Even your risk for cancer goes up. Cancer feeds on sugar. There's countless studies that show that. Excess sugar and in the blood is dangerous, and glucose metabolism is very important. Could I take a step back and share with you a couple of why the GLS Sciences team is so why they were so passionate in this area, right?
Yeah, please do.
So I was telling you that one of my original constituents in the business, a gentleman who only sees out of one eye due to diabetes, and when he started to lose vision in that eye, got really scared. I mean, imagine you can only see out of one eye, and this guy is a former professional tennis player, and has unbelievable vision in his one eye. But he counts on that one eye. He loses one eye, and that's it. Starts to lose vision, and he's scared. Well, he was taking sometimes 20, 30 bottles of pills. He was taking 20 or 30 pills at a time, and it wasn't working. And I said, let me talk to some scientists that I know, because I've been involved in health products and health companies, and I'm a barefoot doctor of sorts. Studied under the former head of the state acupuncture examining committee and some pretty well-known doctors in complementary and alternative medicine for decades now. I said, let me reach out to some of these people and talk to them. So I called who is now our chief science officer, Wayne Harris. People might, just to give them a reference point, he's the original formulator of Ester C, which we see on a lot of shelves. He's probably one of the top vitamin C formulators in the world, if not the top formulator. He does a lot of the formulations for the father of American chelation, Dr. Gary Gordon. I called him up, I called Wayne, and I said, Wayne, we're working on this formula. My buddy's having trouble. There's a real problem out there. And he looked at what we had done, and I had some other doctors working with us on it, and he said, well, we've got to make some adjustments here. And he says, ordinarily I wouldn't be available right now because his wife, was dealing with complications due to diabetes, and he was wow. gradually testing one component at a time, trying to save her life. She was already on dialysis. That's how fast it hit. You say this stuff hits fast, it hits unbelievably fast sometimes. Somebody's health can just deteriorate. So Wayne was racing to finish a formula at the same time that I happened to contact him about this to try and save his wife's life. Unfortunately, he didn't finish the formula in time, and he did lose his wife due to complications associated with type 2 diabetes. And sometimes, he breaks into tears. And I've known this man for 25 years. 25 years ago, I was young, and I thought I had all the answers, and I fought with him for the whole first year I knew the man. Turned out everything he said was right, was gospel, and that's why he speaks at so many medical conferences now, and that's why a lot of the top alternative medical doctors reach out to him when they want something that really works. Well, we did finally finish the formula. I ran a pilot clinical trial because I wanted to make sure that it worked, and it worked exceedingly well, even though the people that in the pilot clinical trial took only 2 pills a day of something that we were working on, that perhaps in a future issue we could share your readers about. We did a bunch of research, I don't want to get ahead of myself, on, okay, well, what are the nutrients that people need? And then it said, what the science showed is, well, you got to actually dig a level deeper. You've got to go back to basics, which is, before you talk about the nutrients they need that they're not getting, you've got to stop putting stuff in, not only that's depleted of those nutrients, but that further depletes the nutrients. Because it's like a 1-2 punch. A lot of this refined food and the fast food, not only is it not missing nutrients and nutritional constituents that they need for healthy metabolism, but it further throws the body out of whack or out of balance by further depleting what little reserves, if any, are available of those nutrients. You get what I'm saying? I'm talking vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, things that are very, very important. And so what we decided to do is, look, Wayne lost his wife, and he may be available for a future interview, and I hope he is. And I would just ask for my fellow listeners and for you to, extend some compassion that he may very well break down into tears, because sometimes he does over this, because he lost his love of 50 years, and we're talking about a man that's been in this industry for many years, and it crept up on him. They ignored it, and he did the best he could to get the formula done. And so what we wanted to do is share research, real scientific research, share what works, but not have people have to read a 300-page book. So we put a report together, and we've had several publishers tell us, we want you to expand this, add diet, add recipes and menus, and we will. And they want to charge people for it, but we don't want to do that. We want to give it away. We want to get this in as many people's hands as possible so they can find out what to stop putting in that's causing the problem into their body, what fuel is causing the problem, and what to start putting in that will actually trigger a healthier metabolism. As I mentioned earlier, we're trying to create a negative calorie balance, and the only way to do that is eat the right foods, get the foods in that give you the nutrition you need for a healthy metabolism, and get a little activity level. Those 2 things alone, just 2 things, can dramatically change somebody's health. And over a matter of just 18 days, they can see dramatic results. And we have an 18-day action plan built into this report. It's very simple. 1 day at a time, eliminate 1 good habit, and 1 day at a time, add 1 good habit. And it's written by a medical doctor, who has dealt with saving people's lives in the emergency room and has become an expert in this arena on saving diabetics' lives and people that deal with blood sugar issues. His name's Dr. Robert Tang. And a dietitian, Danielle Jacques. She's a registered dietitian, LDN. She's sought out by news channels often regarding her expertise on diet and blood sugar and nutrition and diabetes. And myself and our chief copy editor. Our chief copy editor, as you mentioned, Rick, he lost a couple toes to diabetes. He didn't take it seriously. He had to lose 100 pounds. 100 pounds. And it didn't happen in overnight. He had to stop putting in the foods that cause problems and start putting in good fuel that helped. It helped trigger a healthy glucose metabolism and get a little more activity. And it doesn't need to be made complicated. It can be done in an almost effortless manner, day by day, and almost no time at all. People can see results. And we want to give this to people. We don't want a penny. We're not asking for a penny. And that's why I love what you're doing, Arai. And I love the fact that you know you're so passionate about it. And I'm just grateful that we came across you. And I hope if we save one person in your audience, we're happy. If we give this book away and save one, and I call it a book because it is 60 pages, folks, but it's a lot easier to read than a 300-page book, and it's really more of a report with action steps. If you don't want to read that, it's okay, because we'll give you Blood Sugar Health newsletter, and that breaks down the whole book into single newsletter issues. So the point is, please get this information, folks. I'm imploring you. You know, it's one of our original team sees through one eye, another one lost a couple toes. Our chief science officer lost his wife. We believe in this. We know that this information is real. We wish we had uncovered it earlier. You know, if we help one of you, well, just one of you, just save one life, then Arai, I believe you and I are happy, and we've done some good, and people will know that what we're doing is for right and to improve people's health, and that we really believe in what we're doing. I don't know if you'd like to ask me any more questions, and I'm sorry if I went on a rant, folks. I am very, very passionate about this, and I'm not even as passionate as my team, but I try to support them, and you know, they're my friends and they're my extended family, and this is something that I believe that your subscribers are your extended family, and someday you're going to have a profound effect on the health of the planet. Or I believe that, you and Future of Health Now, and I think, look, if we just save one person, we're happy.
No, by no means, David. I do not believe that you went on too much of a rant. This is clearly a very important issue. This is something where, if you're listening to this interview or watching this interview on YouTube or on our website, thefutureofhealthnow.com, if you're pre-diabetic, if you have towards the higher range of normal blood sugar levels, if you are diabetic and have type 2 diabetes, or if you're overweight or obese, or perhaps one of your loved ones have any of these conditions I've just mentioned, then this is very important information that clearly you need to pay attention to. So by no means, David, do you have to apologize. Thank you very much for being so passionate. Thank you for providing this 60-page free report entitled Blood Sugar Miracle for everyone who's watching.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. And I want to emphasize also that, look, please read the Blood Sugar Miracle. But if you don't have time, when you sign up to get the Blood Sugar Miracle, you'll automatically receive Blood Sugar Health, which is a newsletter that breaks the 60-page report down into individual newsletters. It'll only take a minute or so to read every couple days. So you can do whatever works best for you. The point that I want to make is, look, when you chronically undernourish your body, your metabolism, okay, the metabolism starts to shut down and try to save or utilize what little nourishment you're providing, and it's a protection mechanism. It's natural. Our bodies are built to survive. Mm-hmm. So the unfortunate part of that is that the so slow metabolism blues starts, and then that belly starts to grow, and the butt starts to drop, and the blood sugar goes up, and the fat starts to stack on the body, and then it can cause a cascading effect of unfortunate health complications. So look, please get the Blood Sugar Miracle. we're not asking for a penny. All we're doing is asking you to read this 60-page report, get the 18-day action plan, try it, and then you tell Arai how you liked it, because it's going to work. It's worked for everybody. It's worked for thousands of people, okay? And we're not asking for a penny. And if you don't want to read the report, or then at least go to the 18-page, the 18-day action guide in the report. And if you don't want to do that, at least get Blood Sugar Health, get our newsletters, and there's no charge for that either, that break it down into little steps, baby steps, that are easy, almost effortless. There will be a little bit of effort required. You're going to have to substitute some things for other things. But you almost won't notice it. And you can see a profound difference in your health and in your waistline in a matter of weeks in some cases. And it's important to us that you get this information. We want you to have it. We don't want a penny for it. If we save one life, like I said earlier, we're happy. It's something that it's really important. I know I sound like a broken record, folks, but you need to understand. Stop putting in what's causing the problem and start getting some good nutrition that will help support healthy metabolism. And in this case, one of the most important aspects of metabolism is glucose metabolism and carbohydrate metabolism. But we're talking about metabolism, period.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well said, David. And so thank you very much for everyone listening, watching this on YouTube and thefutureofhealthnow.com. However you're attending, if you're listening to the podcast, you'll have to go back to our website, thefutureofhealthnow.com, and take a look around for David's interview. You'll see it right at the front of the homepage. Go ahead and click the link here in the video if you're on YouTube, or below this video if you're on our website, and go ahead and take advantage of the free 60-page report entitled The Blood Sugar Miracle. It's fully referenced. It has all the evidence. It points to all the clinical literature as to the recommendations, the claims, and the benefit statements that these gentlemen have put together for you. It's genuinely been put together by a team of people who are very motivated to ensure that the information they're giving you is accurate and will produce the result that you need. Thank you very much, David, for all the time you spent here with us today. I really sincerely appreciate it. You are genuinely, in the work that you're doing, and your team at GLS Sciences are helping all of us, including myself, to live happier, healthier lives now and well into the future.
Thank you, Arai. And I appreciate everything that you're doing, and I appreciate the sort of family you've built with the Future of Health Now listeners. And I hope that others will step forward and contribute as they can and when they can.
Well, thank you very much, David. I really do appreciate that. And thank you very much for everyone watching and listening to this. My name is Arai Beckman, your host here at thefutureofhealthnow.com. Be well.